Hey YouTube, it's a Zx6R mechanic, and today we will be relocating the rear brake reservoir to right about right here on the bike. Sorry, that was my middle finger. Just use my hand. It's right there. For now, I'm only going to hold it up with the zip tie. It definitely doesn't need anything more because the line itself holds it up pretty well. But eventually, I think I'll be trying to make like a custom bracket. I don't have the time, and I wanted to get this moved here before I go back to school. So I'm going to start by removing this side panel and the other side panel. I'm only going to do the side. If you need help doing the other side panel, I guess you could ask me, but it's pretty simple. It's just one bolt on the other side and then it pops out. So this side, got the one bolt here, which is a 4mm, one bolt here, 5mm, and then one bolt back here, which is another 5mm. So I'm going to remove that. So now you've removed all the bolts, you're just going to take your hands and pop off the pop connectors, and then you'll expose that part. What I'm going to do right now is remove the seat with this bolt. It's 4mm. There's one on each side, but I already did the other side, so. Sorry about the sniffling, but it's like 20 degrees in my garage right now. Alright, so I just removed the seat, and I found that it's best, because I've done this more than once, so I can find the best way for you guys is, if you look here, there's that metal bracket that goes across, and right here is a push connector. Now, on your bike, unless you've removed that push connector before, let me just try to position the light properly, it should be facing the other way, and the push connectors are the ones you use the little screwdriver push down, and then you can remove it. Yeah, and the reason it's the opposite way right now is because I could not, for the life of me, get it to fit back without removing all the fairings. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to do it this way. So what you're going to do is, push all the way down and make sure it's, or for you, what you're going to do is it's going to be sticking up. And I took a pair of small pliers like this, squeezed around it, pulled it up because I knew that's how you released it, and then I pushed it back through the hole and eventually found the ground and I picked it up. But what you're going to do after that is you're going to unbolt this, and this is a 8mm socket. So you go in. I'll make sure you see this. Try to position the camera. It's a pain in the ass, but alright. So I'm just gonna remove it. See it better now? Yeah. Alright. So I do remove this bolt. Pretty short. And then you're gonna just pop this up. Or for you, it should just come out easily, but I have that little quick connector in there. So this is the connector I'm talking about. The way it was before, it's like here sticking up. It's like that sticking up, so you just pull it out and then push it through. And then that leaves you a nice opening to try to get the reservoir through. So the next step after you get that piece out is to come over here and remove, actually I like to remove this one first. It's a pain in the butt. I'll put my light back. It's not a pain in the butt to remove, it's a pain in the butt to get this off, like the rubber off. So this also is an 8mm socket or bolt, whatever you want to call it. Try not to make a shadow. Alright. And they might be harder because they do have Loctite on them. So I've done this before, so that's why it came out easily. So if you're like, oh, it makes it look so easy, it's because I've done it before. So what you're going to do now is remove this. And don't worry too much about this because this is just a thicker heat shielding rubber. So pretty much, but don't pull on it. So you want this end and the bottom end down here to not pull. So put your hand on like the one side and then just kind of pop it off. As you can see, it's a pain in the butt. Alright, so now it's out. You may be able to reuse this. No, I don't think you can. I'm not going to. So this you can, put aside with your old parts because, someone might not, if you ever resell your bike, someone might not want the brake to be way up there because you can't see the level. So the next, you're going to remove this right here. You can remove the whole thing if you want, but this is one of the push pins on the panel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it there. Later I will be removing it. I don't have a vice grip right now, so what I was going to do is I was right here, there's like a good ridge, and I was going to cut it off so that this hanger piece is gone, but this is still here. So for now, my bike, you can see battery's not in it, so it's not going anywhere. So what we're going to do is just remove this. It's a 4mm hex bolt. So that comes off. Make sure this is tight, the cap, because you don't want that pouring out anywhere. Because it will, if it gets on your paint, it will take the paint off. Okay. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take this, and where that hole is that you made with that bracket, which is supposed to be over there, you're going to be careful. The tabs are normally on this side. I'm going to rotate it to this side. Put the cap through first. Don't rotate it, wiggle it. If you rotate it, you might start unscrewing the cap. And if you unscrew that and it pours out, then you're going to have to bleed the whole system. So I'm doing it without bleeding. I recommend, it's definitely easier to just pull this off and then put the cap here and then meet it up. And you probably should bleed your brakes, put some new brake fluid in, because the reason, I guess I'll talk while I'm doing it, but the reason that you do this mod, well, one, it cleans up the tail of your bike, and the other is because if you know anything about automotive chemicals, brake fluid breaks down in sunlight. So that's why everyone has those wrist guards on their brake reservoirs. Not to look cool, although it does. It's to protect this. So now that I have it up here, that's pretty much all you need to do. It's a lot of wiggling with that tab because it gets in the way. But yeah, so now I'm gonna use a zip tie because I don't have anything else. I was thinking about making a bracket that would connect here or something, but don't have the time. So you'll see there's a bar or like a beam goes right here. So I'm gonna wrap the zip tie around that, and then come to the front zipped it back. Yeah, try to keep it somewhat level so you can, whenever you look down, you can get a reading. But that's pretty good. And there's definitely easier ways to set it up so you can read it, but I'm just lazy. Cut the little bit extra. And then what you're gonna want to do is make sure that that this isn't touching any of the pipe, which is not. This thick part is insulated, so you don't have to worry about like, oh well, the exhaust is hot and the heat will touch it. But you do have to worry about this actually touching the pipe, but it doesn't touch the pipe anywhere, so you're pretty good. You don't want any 90 like hard kinks. This isn't bad because this is what is. Alright, so I went back and I found out if you take the zip tie and have it come through like this, it'll actually center it up so it's kind of square. You can see how much is in there, so that's a better fit. So what you're gonna want to do, put the seat on, make sure there's clearance, and then you're gonna want to come take the panel, find out where the pop connectors are, and then pop it in. I took the rear brake bracket off camera, which isn't bad right now because I have the stock exhaust, but in the future, if I ever remove the exhaust, I'm pretty sure you lose this mounting bolt, so it'll be like that. So I think what you should do, if you look at it, is take something and cut right here. Just cut that off. Mount this back, and then you'll have that little connector again. So that's how I'm going to leave it until I get a whatever it's called. I can't think right now. But it's like a vice grip, the thing that mounts to your tool bench. I'm blanking. But yeah, because I can't get this thing off. Some gorilla tightened it, so I kind of stripped it. So I'm just gonna keep that off for now. So yeah, once you check all the spacings, make sure nothing's touching, you can put everything back on and go along with your merry business. As I said, I recommend you bleed the brakes. I will be bleeding all my brakes this summer, or come spring break or summertime, whenever I get the chance to do it. So I'll have a video on that in a couple months. I recommend it, especially if you had this guy back here for a while, because the sunlight, and also one in the front, that one is exposed to a lot of sunlight unless you have a one of those wrist guards on it. So I recommend after you do this, flush it, put new brake fluid in it, and same with the front. Buy the brake fluid, might as well do it for front and back, and get a wrist guard for that front one, because the sun just destroys brake fluid, and don't ever want your brakes to fail. And it isn't even that your brake fluid would fail, but it would start losing additives, which will corrode. So your master cylinder and your calipers will need to be like revalved or something ridiculous. So just change it. It's like $10 for brake fluid. Just change it. Alright, thanks for watching.